hockey player, Lisa Lewis. I know we've got a lot of history together, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me about the type of work that you do, because I know a lot of people that listen to this or watch the recording of this are in the real estate industry. They're either brokers or salespeople within the industry in real estate. And I just thought it'd be great for people to get more of an exposure of what it is that you do and how you can help people in our community, the different services that you offer. Can you give us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, sure. So I've been in business for over 22 years now, all with the same company, which a lot of people find absolutely amazing because there is a lot of tendency to jump around in different companies when you're in the financial services business. But I got lucky and I found a great one and I stuck with it. So Independent Capital Management is the company that I work for, and SagePoint Financial is our broker dealer. Been with the same one, all of those guys for the entire time. SagePoint has changed hands a couple of times, but it's all been the same under advisor group. So yeah, so I'm what they like to say, full service financial advisor. I specialize with small businesses and families that are coming up, people just starting out with new jobs, getting them the education they need to start investing and figure out their 401ks, all the way through to my clients who are now retiring and wanting to make sure that they stretch their money as far as they can, make sure their living trusts are all put together, their estate's going to be handled when they pass away. So everything from A to Z basically is what I help my clients with, as well as life insurance. So that's part of the plan. It's a big part of the plan.
Very cool. So I'm just curious, how did you get into this industry?
I've always been interested in how do you make money in the stock market? You know, just watching the news as a kid and seeing the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ, and they're up one day and down the next, and what does that really mean? And I know people make a lot of money being invested in the stock market, but that wasn't my first, hope and dream of as a child, was being a financial advisor. But no, I was in several different careers before and always seemed to hit that glass roof. So with financial advising industry, there isn't that roof that you hit as a female. And even though when I joined, there weren't a lot of females in the business, it's still pretty male dominated. So I saw that there was actually kind of a need to have more women in the business to help other women, because a lot of times, in a couple, the husband's the one that handles all that. Well, that's great. But if the husband passes away first, a lot of times the wife feels a lot more comfortable talking to a woman. So that kind of, gave me the impetus to get into the business. And I like helping people. And this is one business that, that you're having a positive impact on people and in their finances and helping them to live a happier life. So that's the big reason that I'm here.
For a real estate agent or a real estate company owner, how could you help somebody in that industry?
Well, the purchase of a home is one of the biggest purchases that anybody's ever going to make. So it's really important to make sure that you have protections in place, especially if it's a couple. Life insurance is a huge, huge issue when you purchase a home, because it might be, most people, it's easy to finance that home. They can pay the mortgage very easily on both incomes, but what happens if the unexpected happens and one person passes away, way before their time? You want something in place that's going to help their loved one stay in that home that they worked so hard to buy. They don't want to, at the death of a spouse, you don't want to have to move your entire life. You want to be able to stay in that home that you work to create together. So life insurance is something that's going to help make sure that can happen, as well as a living trust. That's the final piece of the puzzle. You've worked hard, you've built your retirement savings up, you've got all of these different, irons in the fire, and you finally bought that home. You want to make sure if something happens that home isn't just going to go to probate. It's not going to, you want all of your assets and everything that you work so hard for to go to the people that you love and not, get tied up in probate. So, and in California, that's a bigger issue than a lot of states. It's all different depending on what state you live in, but with California, it can tend to be kind of messy.
So if you're a real estate agent and you haven't done a trust for yourself or for your company, if you're a company owner, who's going to manage the company if something were to happen to you, you could help them with that as well?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. And a lot of people overlook that based on, because, there's so many salespeople that are focused on just the next deal and servicing
Yeah.
their clients, which is important. But also sometimes you got to look at your own business in order for you to fully optimize what you have at hand and what you have available. How can somebody learn more about you?
The best way to get to know me on an individual basis is like, let's go get coffee or do a Zoom meeting or something
Okay.
like that to get to know each other a little bit better. My record is on FINRA.org. You can look at our broker check. That's
Okay.
the best way to look up people who are licensed individuals doing financial planning. Look us up on there. See our record and double check on everybody that you work with that way. Something that's specific to the real estate or any independent contractor type business that a lot of people don't know about is like a specific type of retirement plan, like an individual 401k.
Mm.
When it comes to independent contractor work like real estate, you don't want to plan, that where you're tied into giving any certain amount of money. Sometimes you're not completely independent. You might have employees that you work with. So there are different types of plans that you can set up that are going to benefit you if you're a sole proprietor. And then there's other things that you can do that will benefit you as well as your employees. So it's all depending on the exact situation that you're in. But it's very important to keep that in mind, because like you said, a lot of times business owners tend to overlook some things because you're so focused on building your business and what comes next and what comes next and that next step, that you tend to kind of let some things fall to the wayside because maybe you don't know how to get that going. And so you're like, oh, I'll do that later. Oh, I'll do that later. Yeah, I know I need to get to that. But I mean, I come across that all the time.
Mm.
And people will tell me like, yeah, Matt, I wish I'd met you 10 years ago. Well, you didn't, but we're here now. So let's make the best of it.
Awesome. I really appreciate your time in doing this, because I know a lot of people can benefit by giving you a call. Or do you prefer them just contact you?
It's icmfinancial.com.
Perfect. So thanks again, Lisa. This was awesome. Appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, thanks, Hector. I appreciate it.